Alright everybody, I just wanted to get outside today on today's vlog, and I wanted to take you through on a tour of the garden space that we've got here at the Urban Garden. So what we're going to start with, immediately right in my front yard, I have a couple of different bedding things that I do. I grow flowers, and I try to get something else in there too. Up front we got some strawberries. We'll take a look at those. I've got some strawberries growing into the front bed here, and I just had gotten them cleared out. Up here I got some chives growing up here. We're going to be trimming this bush back quite a bit here, and we're going to plant in a bunch more different herbs and whatnot around this bed, going around the bush all the way around through the front. And we're going to really utilize that space there to get in some herbs and whatnot. And down here, growing around this rose bush, I've got a couple of different types of mint, peppermint and a spearmint, and they're really starting to kick in and get going this season. So I'm sure they'll really take over this bed here in the next coming months. But move on down the alleyway, and one of the things I did a couple of years ago was composted and set up a in-ground garden bed right at the back side of the house. And there, here I'm growing some, I don't know if we can see, they're growing some garlics down here that I have planted out, and I'll be doing an episode up here real soon about those garlics. And in this bed we'll be growing a lot more things of like corn, onions, and different things. I haven't quite got set yet exactly what it's going to be, but we're going to grow a whole bunch of different things in there. And across the way, we'll see throughout the growing season, my neighbor back here will take advantage of these spaces, and he grows this really awesome corn that grows taller than the roof of his place. But he's the one who really kind of got me going on doing my urban gardening outdoor along the alleyways. When I first moved in here and saw the sort of things that he was growing and doing and utilizing this space, just really inspired me to go and start doing some of this stuff myself. So at that pace, I basically started taking over a lot of other things from down here, and we're going to go right up here along this way here. Down this fence line here, I set up my bucket systems as well, and grow in between them as well. So the bucket systems will grow tomatoes and different varieties of tomatoes, and in between I'll be doing different types of like melons and cucumbers and different things like that. Seems to have really worked well over the last couple of years, so we'll be setting that up and doing that again this year. And down here we've got another strawberry patch that I set up last year, and this one's still kind of buried under the fall leaves to kind of keep them warm and protected throughout the winter time. And they're already starting to grow up really good. Lots of new leaves and new growth starting to come out of them. So I think this strawberry patch is just going to be outstanding this year. Can't wait to start getting some of those. Here I got a compost bin, and down this side of the alleyway I have dug out and set up to grow more corn, and we're going to actually try to do I believe it's the Three Sisters growing method. We're going to grow corn, squash, and beans together right down this way here. So that's kind of what we're doing as far as the alleyway is concerned. I also do have my concrete patio space here in the back, which we're going to take a look at here. And mind you, everything right now is basically coming right out of winter. Nothing looks great, nothing's, you know, that spectacular right now, but this is just kind of a view to take a look at what we're working with and what later on we can look back at and see exactly where we came from, where we're going. So when we get there later in the summer, we can look back and see where exactly things were and how really cool gardening is. You know, you start with something that's just really just kind of destroyed and not looking good at all, and then later in the season you've got this vibrant garden that's just growing great food for you, you know, in your urban garden. So let's take a look at the concrete space and check that out. So as you can tell here, I utilize a lot of different buckets. We have tons of buckets. We're going to be utilizing those in lots of different ways. And we've got a cool little self-watering 5-gallon bucket system. I will do a video on later on. We'll look at that. We've got these larger containers here, which will then later be for potatoes and things we'll do. I have a above ground raised bed garden system that I set up a few of those, and then I have this one that's a lot more raised and tiered up. And one of the things we'll be doing here real soon too in another episode is kind of hooking up a water system that we'll have set up, which is really necessary in this area as we get later into the season, because the heat here really kind of kicks in and you really got to have a good setup for watering your vegetables and your plants. And as we can tell, we need to do some repairs out of this winter too, because like I said, you know, winter kind of really gets in and tears things up a bit, but it gives you a chance to kind of renew and restart and get things going again. And later in the season, there'll be a great reward for all of that work. As you can tell right here, we got some snow peas growing already. Up back here, we also got another small greenhouse setup I've got, plus another above raised bed strawberry bed. So I guess as you can tell, I really like strawberries. And we've got some overwintered kale that's really starting to come back together again, and a couple of little setups there. I utilize this bin here for composting. I use this as a outdoor composting bin. And we got some little starch getting ready to go in there. Can't remember which ones those were exactly. Oh, we got some lettuce and Swiss chard. Swiss chard that is actually starting to come up right now. And up here we got a spinach patch that I have not been pulling back those leaves and taking them and harvesting them recently, so we've got some really giant overgrown spinach leaves here, so I think I'll cut that back here a little bit later. And I'm going to plant out some cilantro here in just a little bit. What we're going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and hop on the bike, and we're going to take a ride down to the community garden. I'm going to show you that space as well. So after this, we'll kind of have a good idea of the space that we're going to be utilizing this year as far as what I'm going to be doing in gardening. And hopefully over the season, we'll also be able to get out and check out some other urban gardens of some people that I know around here around town. So hopefully we'll get to go check out some of those things too as well. But this is basically what we're working with on our urban garden. I did want to give you one more look at something here real quick. As you could tell with the last episode, we talked about doing peppers and stuff. One of the things that I do with the peppers is I utilize the upper carport space up there. And so we'll be getting up there and doing that here in another few episodes as well, as we get ready to get the peppers going into the season too, when we get closer to our last frost date. Let's get hopping on the bike there, and we'll take a ride on down to the community garden that I have here at my local community park. All right, here we go. Our community garden's just a couple of blocks down the street, so it's just a short ride down. down here at the community gardens, and we're just gonna go take a look at my 2 little plots here, and then maybe take a walk through and we'll show the whole thing. And just like back at the house, it's the same thing. Everything's coming out of winter. Ain't hardly anybody been down here, as I can tell so far. So there's gonna be a lot of cleanup, a lot of work to do in order to get this garden back in shape. But that's a great thing about a new season and a new year and everything. It was something great to look forward to. It's a lot of hard work, but you know what? It's really fun and rewarding. So let's go check out my 2 plots. So basically I've got these 2 here, and obviously we've got, like I said, a lot of weeding to do. A lot of weeding to do. Looks like we got some beets that are still in there from going through the winter time. So, yeah. Looks like there's some leeks and onions still growing there. That's one thing too, these onions here last year, I put them in and started growing them, and they just didn't want to do anything. Let them go through a winter time and they just decide they want to start popping up. Don't look like there's much for any bulbs, but I think I'll harvest those and take those greens home. And look at that big old oregano globe there, starting to spread all over. We'll have to cut that back a little bit and shape up that tomato tower. So now we got a simple garden plot. Take a look around here, some of the others. There's a couple of my neighbors' garden plots. Look at these sunflower stalks left over from last year. That's something about sunflowers too. You gotta really watch out with those things when the birds, as you can hear in the background, start getting to them. Those birds will take those seeds and they'll take them and drop them all over the place. And they'll get flying all over here. And basically by mid-season, this garden will look like a big old sunflower forest. Walk through here and head over, and we got some other plots over here. We're built in a raised style there for those who have the physical needs to have a raised bed higher up there. And we got yes, you can just reach right in and get to everything you need right there, right easily. Over here, look at that, we've got looks like we got some plants that are going to seed right there, for sure. Well, this is basically my parks community garden that I wanted to give you a kind of a quick short tour walk through with and check out there so that we can see what's growing on this year. That's quite a strawberry patch there. Little plants coming out right into the walkway. going to get our cilantro seeds planted into our pot here. And one of the things I wanted to show you with cilantro seed, or coriander as it's called, is the seeds like these little balls here. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to scarify these, or basically pop them open, running them through our fingernails like so, and open up the seed husk basically. And basically what we're going to do there is help the seed along in its germination. So we'll pop several of these seeds into our pot here, and then basically what we're going to do is just kind of knead them in a little bit. Knead them into the dirt. Turn the soil just a little bit there and kind of pat them in. Kind of water them in a bit there to get them started up. And basically as they come up and as the plants come up, we can thin them out if they get too crowded. Basically in a couple of weeks we should be seeing some cilantro coming up here. All right, so we'll check back with that when it's ready to go. Rolling. All right, so basically what we're going to do here is we're going to get our coriander